I wasn't gonna make a video, but it's hot in Toronto today, and I felt some video spirit boiling over into YouTube, and or I felt like there could be, and I thought, yeah, you know what? Why not make a video and let's see where we can go with it. So yeah, late last night, probably due to the weather and me taking the wrong meds. I was tossing and turning all night, and things kept slipping in and out of my mind. And I remembered that about, I don't know, 4 years ago, I used to have an old Facebook feed with some of the same people, but mostly like a whole bunch of different people on that feed, and they would. And I would get into these kind of slash discussions, arguments, and I used to say this one line that stuck in my head, and the one line that revisited me last night as I was tossing and turning on the wrong meds, that I used to say, what is religion but the people that follow it? And it sounds kind of profound, it sounds kind of, true. And I think there's, since then I've changed a lot in terms of how I view that. But to my credit, I wouldn't say that I meant it in the way that, say, a lefty might mean it. What is religion but the people who follow it? Therefore, if you criticize religion, you're criticizing people. And some, people do get criticized. I mean, obviously, I get criticized, you get criticized, everybody gets criticized. But giving religion this place as this holy grail, or something so inherent in a person's humanity as being devoid of not devoid, but being immune to the ability to be criticized. Now, it is a lefty thing to say, but I guess maybe on the other hand, what I was actually trying to say though is that you can't. And maybe it doesn't translate well because it doesn't fit into what a classical liberal would say in terms of religion and the way you can criticize religion and the way religion is not immune to mockery and being made fun of, or things like that. Getting back on track, what I was trying to say was with the whole what is religion but the people that follow it is that people should take responsibility for what religion preaches. You can't say that people have no responsibility in the areas of what religion dictates to them. They can change their minds. They can, religion is not an inherent part of humanity. You can convert away from religion. You can convert to another religion. You can convert. You can stay in a religion. You can convert. You could be an apostate. So, in the way I was saying it was mainly to say that. You can. Anyway, what you could do is actually change the course of the way religion dictates how you live your life, because you are the one living your life and living the religion. You can change those things. Religion is not some thing. For believers and for especially conservative believers, if there is such a thing in the Muslim world, but for conservative Christians or conservative Muslims or any conservatively religious person, the religion for them, it might be something unshakable, etc., etc. And it's just kind of weird to think of somebody who can't think of an idea that can't be modified or changed or at least even gotten rid of. So it's one of those things. So that was my saying that came up, and I thought, maybe I should clarify that because once it's on Facebook, people can see it, and even though I've closed that account down, it keeps getting reactivated for some reason. I don't know how that happens or why that happens, but sometimes I think I reactivate it by clicking on the wrong profile, and it just pops up, and I reactivate it without even knowing. But I doubt that very much. Anyway, it keeps getting reactivated, and I thought, if somebody was perusing my old Facebook profile and they saw that, they would say, "Aha, he had a very opposite view." It wasn't so opposite. It's I said it in a way that doesn't jive with what the mainstream atheists of today are saying in terms of religion just being an idea that can be modified, criticized, made fun of, mocked, etc., etc., ridiculed, etc., etc. And I'm getting more into the free speech thing. So I've been watching Dave Rubin. He's a big free speech guy, and I've been watching him and kind of noticing, how far he's willing to go in the free speech thing. And I'm not saying that it's going far. What I'm saying is for me, somebody who's generally been I think, I don't know for sure. I mean, maybe I'm an asshole. I don't know, but which is bad. But for someone who generally tries to be very nice to people. I've never really looked at the free speech thing. I see celebrities doing, the Kathy Griffin thing, holding Donald Trump's head. It's not something I would ordinarily think of doing. I would never put that on YouTube. I mean, maybe I could, right? I could. Apparently Marilyn Manson did it, but who cares? But Kathy Griffin did it, and it was this huge thing. She lost her job at CNN, blah, blah, blah. So I mean, it just felt like those types of things always seemed like that celebrities would do, or public figures would do, but I would never do that. I still wouldn't think of doing that. But I mean, anyway, going back to Dave Rubin, I mean, the fact that he actually thinks that these things are acceptable is actually, I wouldn't say new to me, because I mean, like I've said in previous videos, I have heard some pretty outlandish things and seen some outlandish things. Never really been offended by them. And never really thought much of them in the way of, oh no, how horrible. But he really drives the point home of people's right to be offensive, or to offend, or to say things, say controversial things, etc., etc. So the free speech stuff is really sinking into me, and I'm even wondering about things like my needle is getting pushed a little bit when it comes to things like hate speech and but I still feel there's blurry areas when it comes to incitement of violence and incitement of hatred, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure Dave Rubin would agree that violence is not really what we're talking about when we're talking about free speech. So obviously, I mean, I hate to make it so simple, but obviously, yeah. And well, the other thing is that I wanted to talk about was I recently did my latest blog post, and I tried a different. At first I thought I wasn't gonna talk about my blog post. It's it should be self-explanatory, but hey, it's my blog and I can do whatever I want. So I can make a video about my blog post. That's fine. Who cares? But blog post. I tried a bit of a different writing style. So for those of you who follow, might notice a different writing style. It's a little bit more. It's a little less fancy and more fact based. Although I felt like I gave up some of the through giving up some of the fanciness. I think I gave up some of the. There you go. So I felt like if I through giving up some of the fanciness, I gave up some of the nuance, some of the flair, the intellectual flair. And I think I don't know. I'm still experimenting with writing style and things like that. And I know books are written differently than blog posts and articles, and but I like crossing styles. I like playing around with styles, even though some people are horribly offended by that. It's just very uncouth, and in some echelons I might be considered a rogue or a peasant, for lack of a better word. But blog post. I tried to gather, in terms of factual examples, I tried to gather some things that kind of span the spectrum in terms of what belief is, and historical belief, things that were kind of separated by time and space, and things that were kind of separated by contemporaneity, and various examples. I used only 3 examples, but I think they kind of span the. Anyway, I should really take this phone call, because whoever's trying to get in touch with me is really trying to get in touch with me. So bye.